So we're now in Moalboal in Cebu. We arrived a couple of days ago. We flew from Boracay to Cebu, and then it was meant to be about a 2.5-hour drive from the airport to here, but I think it ended up being more about 3.5 hours. We didn't actually arrive here till 3 p.m. because of the traffic, which was absolutely fine. We kind of expected it. So we're actually here for 3 days, but I think it kind of ends up more like 2.5 days because we didn't get here till late that afternoon. We're staying in Turtle Bay Dive Resort in Moalboal. We actually really struggled to find hotels here. It's a small town and there's not loads of options and no like resort style hotels like there was in Boracay. So we pretty much chose this place based on reviews. It has exceptional reviews and I think it's maybe rated one of the best in Moalboal, if not the best place to stay. It is a dive resort, so a lot of divers come here to stay. We aren't actually diving. We have done diving before a couple of times, but obviously because of Jack's arm, he can't go under deep because of the pressure, but also the snorkeling here is just as great. You don't necessarily need to dive. We found the location of this hotel perfect, and we've also met the owners and they are super lovely. We actually haven't used all the facilities, so we haven't actually used the pool. We have used the restaurant a couple of times and we have been off the back of the hotel into the coral reef. So it's not like a beach, it's more of like a pier or like a jetty onto an amazing coral reef, and it was incredible. The first day we got here, it was nearly sunset. I said we arrived at 3 o'clock. We went swimming around 4:30, 5 o'clock after we grabbed something to eat, and we saw 2 turtles in that time. It was literally just me and Jack in the water because it was pretty much sunset time, and we saw 2 turtles. So literally incredible, an amazing place to stay for snorkeling. You'll actually see later on in the vlog we headed to the town this evening, so Panagsama Road near Panagsama Beach, and that has lots of restaurants and bars and is a little bit more touristy. We saw a lot of backpackers down there, and that was literally only a 10-minute drive from our hotel, so it's quite close. The hotel called their little bus thing for us, and on the way back we got a trike. So I will insert the room tour I took when we first arrived. The room is quite basic, but it has everything we could possibly need. As I said, there weren't loads of options of where to stay here, but we have a massive room and it has suited all of our needs. We have a double bed over here, 2 bedside tables, wardrobe space over here. Then we have another bed over there, which obviously won't need because it's just the 2 of us. TV on the wall, and then we have some more storage over there, little mirror, and then into our bathroom, just the toilet there, sink, and then round here is our little shower area. We have a little mini fridge in the cupboard there, and then a safe over here. This is also the little view out of our window, and we've got a little seating area out there. As mentioned before, Turtle Bay Dive Resort has direct access to the sea for snorkeling and diving on site. We headed down on our first day just before sunset and found these 2 beautiful turtles within minutes. We have swum with turtles before in Barbados, and I have a vlog of it up on my channel. However, that was an organised tour, whereas here we saw turtles by chance in their natural environment, and it was incredible. So we are in bed now, nice and early, because tomorrow we are being picked up at 4:30 a.m. for our first tour while we're here. We're doing a full day tour. I actually think it's 16 hours long. It includes whale shark watching / swimming, so we get to snorkel with whale sharks. Sumilon Sandbar, so we go to Sumilon Island. It also includes Tumalog Falls, which is a waterfall, and swimming with the sardines and turtles if we manage to see them. So it is a big tour. It starts with the whale shark watching, and you have to leave for that early, hence the 4:30 a.m. pickup. It's actually a couple of hours away in Oslob, but they are picking us up from here in Moalboal. It is going to be a long day. We are so excited. I think this might be the tour I'm most excited for while we're here, so we can't wait. I can't believe we're going to be swimming in the ocean with whale sharks. Giant, real whale sharks. So excited. Following the 2-hour drive to Oslob, we arrived at the whale watching site. The whale sharks are only fed from 6 AM to 12 PM, and we were about 142nd in the queue when we arrived. As they were still calling number 70, while we waited, we had breakfast and our guide took us to Tumalog Falls, which was just a few minutes away. It's about a 15-minute steep walk down to the waterfall, but because we were still in the whale shark queue, our tour guide suggested we jump on the back of a motorbike to save us time, which cost an extra 50 pesos per person each way. The waterfall was absolutely stunning at around 100 metres tall and definitely worth a visit if you're in Oslob. Then it was finally time to see the whale sharks. After a very important educational briefing on the do's and don'ts, we got on a boat from the shore. It was quite wavy, which made me quite nervous at first, but as soon as we climbed off of the boat into the water, all of that fear went away as we met these beautiful, gentle giants. Being the biggest fish in the sea and the largest non-mammalian vertebrate in the world, I really didn't know what to expect, but I was in awe of how calm and friendly they were. Whale sharks can get up to 18 metres long and are filter eaters, meaning they neither bite nor chew as their teeth are so tiny. The boatmen feed the whale sharks with krill, luring them to the boats. There's lots of debate around how ethical the whale shark watching is, and there are passionate opinions on both sides, which makes it difficult to know the right thing to do. Before tourism, whale sharks were hunted and sold at the fish markets, and they became an endangered species. Locals argue that since tourism, the whale sharks are alive, local fishermen have income, lifting the coastal community out of poverty, and the environment has been in its best shape ever. The whale sharks are free to roam the sea, are well protected by marine biologists from the area, and funds generated from tourism are channeled towards protecting the whale sharks and the coral reef. Many say that unlike sharks held captive in ocean and marine parks, because these whale sharks are free to roam, they would have vanished already if they didn't want to come back to the area. I have to admit the experience was a lot more chaotic than I imagined, with many people in the water at once, but the whale sharks were free to roam up and down between the boats, and there was nothing actually forcing them to stay there. Personally, we are so grateful to have had this unique experience of swimming with these incredible creatures that we may never have been able to do without the Oslob community. Following the whale shark adrenaline, we headed to beautiful Sumilon Island, which is a small sandbar island located just a short boat ride from Oslob. It's worth noting that despite booking a private tour, we did find some of the activities and transportation were shared, such as the boat to the whale sharks and this boat ride to Sumilon Island. On the island, we enjoyed the crystal clear waters and walked up to an amazing viewpoint to see the sandbar from above. This was so beautiful. After some lunch, we headed back to Moalboal for the final activity, which was a private Pescador island hopping tour where we visited 3 incredible snorkel spots. We were so lucky to see lots of beautiful fish at Pescador Island, but the tour only got better when we arrived at the famous Sardine run just off the shore of Moalboal and got to swim among millions of sardines. And as you can see, our luck continued at our final stop, where our guide helped us find this beautiful turtle and took some of these incredible close-up videos for us. It was the perfect end to such an action-packed day. The whole day with Cebu tours, which included all activities, transportation and food, cost us 12,800 pesos, which is around £185, and we loved every second of it. So little review of our full day tour. We had the most incredible time, and honestly it was so worth the 4 a.m. wake up. Ended up being dropped back here around 4 o'clock, so it did end up being 12 hours instead of what we thought was going to be 17 hours, so that was brilliant. And we ended our island hopping tour here. So we were back in Moalboal for the last snorkel spot, which was turtles, and then the boat dropped us back literally at our hotel, which was incredible. So they just pulled into our hotel and dropped us off. It was so cool. I think my favourite thing of the day was the whale sharks. Well, I think it's quite obvious. It was incredible. It was such an experience. And after we saw the whales, we headed to Sumilon Island, which was beautiful. The water was so blue, so clear. So I recommend doing that. If you're in Oslob doing the whale shark watching, I say go to Tumalog Falls and also to Sumilon Sandbar as well. And following that, that's when we drove back to Moalboal and did our little island hopping. It was just myself and Jack in the boat because obviously we booked a private tour. However, throughout the rest of the day, we were getting boats with other people because you couldn't just get a private boat all the way from one island to the other. They had like a set ferry. Same with the whale sharks, you couldn't just get a private boat. Me and Jack, there were hundreds of people trying to do it. However, the island hopping, it was just the two of us. We had 3 guys on board and they were incredible. Took loads of shots for us on the GoPro. They swam down deeper than we were to get some amazing pictures and videos. We saw the sardine run and turtles again, and we had the best time. There are different variations of that tour. You can do less things, so you don't have to do the island hopping, you don't have to do Tumalog Falls, but we just decided we'll just have one big day, try and get as much done as possible, and honestly so worth it. So if you have the energy, go for the big tour with everything. And as I said, I'll leave Cebu tours below. So next part of this vlog is our final day in Moalboal. We headed on another private tour with Cebu tours, and we did the canyoneering adventure at Kawasan Falls. We honestly had the best day, and I can't thank our guide enough. It was a private tour and our guide JB was incredible. He took my phone and my GoPro and basically filmed everything, and I didn't have to film or take any photos myself. So all the next clips are all thanks to JB. We gave him a lovely tip at the end. Maybe our best day in the Philippines so far, as well as the Oslob whale watching. After we arrived in Badian for our canyoneering adventure, we were given the choice to trek for 40 minutes down to the canyon or take the zip line. Of course we opted for the zip line, which was so much fun. This cost an extra 600 pesos each, and we decided to go down Superman style instead of sitting upright. This was a great start to our day and meant we got down to the canyon ahead of the crowds, so I definitely recommend if you're willing to pay extra. The canyoneering, also known as canyoning, involved scrambling, climbing, jumping and swimming. After our first jump, our amazing guide got us ahead of the crowd so we could go through the canyon just the two of us and didn't have to queue for any of the jumps. This was also possible because we got there first thing in the morning to avoid the rush of the day, and it definitely made it worthwhile paying for the private experience. There were several jumps starting at 3 meters tall all the way up to 10 meters. We obviously took it very slow because of Jack's arm, and he avoided some of the taller jumps and rope swings. There were also multiple waterfalls and rapids, but 2 waterfalls counted as Kawasan Falls. The tour cost us 7,200 pesos plus 1,200 pesos extra for the zip line, which comes to around £121. This was such a fun day and we think it was worth every penny. There are definitely cheaper ways of doing this by doing group tours or not doing the zip lining. However, the private experience completely made it for us. Little recap of our canyoneering adventure. As I said, maybe our best day in the Philippines so far. We had the best time. We were a little worried about Jack's arm. As I've said before, he only 6 weeks ago had an operation on his elbow following falling over in New York, so he has to be really careful. So we almost didn't book this, but we thought, we've come all the way to the Philippines, we need to do it. We almost did push our trip back a little further so that Jack was a bit stronger to do all of these things, but we decided to take the risk and we did go canyoneering today, and Jack is absolutely fine. In fact, I'm more injured than him because I did wind myself. I did completely belly flop, chest first, face first, off of the rope swing. So Jack's fine. I was a little bit winded. I'm absolutely fine now though. As I said, our guide JB was phenomenal. He took my phone and GoPro, took all of those clips. He also got us in front of absolutely everyone at the canyon. Before we came, I actually watched a vlog that said it's really great to go canyoneering first thing in the morning before the crowds because it's just a much better experience and you're not like waiting for each jump. That is why we booked the Oslob whale watching and the canyoneering separately. There are lots of variations of the Oslob whale watching tour and you can combine it with canyoneering, but we decided we'd do them separately, so we started both first thing. So we had Oslob whale watching first thing yesterday and canyoneering first thing today, and honestly it really did pay off. Yeah, overall incredible day. I will put the link to the tour in the description. It's now our final evening. We've had a bit of a nap following canyoneering this morning, and we are going to head to Panagsama Road this evening to try and get some dinner and just have a little walk around. I believe that is like the touristy strip with all the like cafes and restaurants. We've actually only eaten here. Apart from on our tours, we had lunch. We've had very busy, hectic days, and it has been really convenient just to eat at the restaurant overlooking the sea. It's really pretty there. They have a nice menu and it is literally a 2-minute walk from our room. But we think before we leave, we need to go and head out and find a restaurant, eat somewhere different before we leave, so we can say we have seen a bit more of Moalboal than just the inside of our hotel, the restaurant and the tours we've done. I'm going to end the vlog here. Moalboal and Cebu have exceeded our expectations completely. Maybe a little bit better than Boracay. Obviously it's been very different, very full on, a lot of activities, so a bit hard to compare them because Boracay was more of a relaxing, beachy destination. We are now, I think, halfway through. I think we have 6 days left, so yeah, just over halfway through our time in the Philippines. Tomorrow we fly to Palawan, we fly to Coron. We're in Coron for 3 days and then we get a ferry to El Nido for our final 3 days before our very long travel home to London. Subscribe for the next vlog. It will be from our 3 days in Coron. And now I need to pack for the 5th time this trip. My least favourite job ever, but after today only 2 more times packing up.